What is up, my Life Unlimited legends? Happy Tuesday. I have got a good one for you this Training Tuesday. So hopefully it is super valuable because it was kind of something that hit me like a bolt of lightning yesterday while I was talking to someone in this group actually. And it was actually kind of like a really cool realization for me because one of the most common things I hear from people who we're talking to or who are like struggling on their journey or whatever is what I titled this. And it's, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it, right? Super common thing. Okay. Now, I've talked about this before. It's been a while, but before when I talked about it, when people used to say that to me, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. Sometimes genuinely people think they know what to do, but they don't really know what to do, but they think they know what to do. And so I always would be like, do you know what to do? Right? Because, like, to a certain extent, we all do know that we need to move more, eat better, sleep more. I hope, really hope people know that, right? Like, everybody knows those kind of things. But sometimes when people say they know what to do, they're just not doing it, what they're not doing or unable to do, and usually they blame like lack of motivation or lack of planning, or it's like one of those things, right? Usually what they're not doing is something that worked for them before. Okay, so when they know what to do, it's something that worked for them last time, last baby, last insert season of their lives, right? When they were in college, when they were whatever, right? And part of the problem is sometimes what worked then won't work now. And I'm not saying it because like our bodies change and our metabolism changes. Like, I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying because when life is busier or when you are in a different season of your life, you need to know different ways to incorporate fitness and nutrition into those seasons and make it work. It has to be adaptable, okay? Fitness and nutrition is not cut and dry. And I think that's what I've been trying to express in my last few videos, like the one where I talked about how I became the coach that I am, and the one that I talked about how, like, if you're doing health right, there is no such thing as failure, okay? Fitness and nutrition is not black and white. We think it is. We think, right, that it's supposed to look this specific way, but that's not true. It's not true. And the trap that we fall into is we know what works, right? And when we're just not doing what works, it's because it doesn't work. If it worked, we would do it, right? Like, straight up, let's be honest, okay? Like, I have found what works for me in this season of my life, right? I have also found what has worked for me in other seasons of my life, and they are not necessarily the same. They're similar, but they are not the same. Okay? There are things about them that I would have incorporated anyway, no matter what, but you have to be willing to adapt, okay? And that's part of the problem with most of the diet plans that are out there is they're extremely rigid and they don't adapt, and there is a pass fail, right? Like if you use keto or cutting carbs, for example, like if you eat too many carbs, you're failing. Well, what if you went on a long run that day? Or what if, like, things need to be adaptable and flexible based on your life now. Does that make sense? And so if you are in the situation where you know what to do and you're just not doing it, you may need to ask yourself, if I know what to do and I'm just not doing it, is what I know how to do and what worked for me before actually, truly, genuinely realistic for me right now in this season of my life. Because for some people, what worked before was like 75 hard status, where they're working out twice a day. They're running 20 hours a week and they're working out this amount of time, and then they can eat whatever they want, like, because they're 23 years old, like, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's things where that worked before, but now you're a mom of 4 kids and you don't have that much time, and you need something that makes sense for you now, because you might be able to do all of that for a week, maybe 2, but the likelihood of you being able to do that long term all the time is very low. And so, again, I pose the question. If you are constantly saying this phrase to yourself, to your friends, to people like me, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. 1, do you know what to do? Okay, aside from generals, like, do you genuinely know how many calories you need to eat, and genuinely know how much protein you need to eat, and genuinely know how much time you need to spend exercising, and how many hours of sleep you need, and how many ounces of water you need? And like, do you genuinely know? Or do you just know generals? Because we all know generals, right? We all hopefully took some sort of basic nutrition. So do you know? And then the second thing is what you know that works actually, truly, genuinely something that you can do right now in this season of your life? Because just because it worked for you 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 3 years ago, when you weren't working, or when you only had 1 kid, or when you were a college student or whatever, if that worked for you, can it work for you now for real? Because if you've been trying to do this specific way of doing things, and and it has not worked because you haven't been able to stay consistent with it, I would argue that it's not the answer that you're looking for. It's something, yes, it worked before, but your life looks different now. So you need to figure out the way to make it adapt and mold into your life now. Okay? It's got to fit now. So what does that look like? Once you can figure that out, then you'll win. Okay? So, and if you need help, obviously we're here, right? But I just wanted to point out something that I realized, because the lady I was talking to, she said that phrase, the infamous phrase, I know what to do, I'm just not doing it. And I asked her, well, when you had success before, did your life look the same as it does now? And she said no. And I realized that for most people who say that phrase, that's probably the situation that they're in. Is it worked before, but for them to expect it to work again, or for them to expect themselves to be consistent with it now, how their life has shifted and changed and evolved, would be an unrealistic expectation. And so you're just setting yourself up for failure over and over and over again, when it's unnecessary, because all it would take is just some minor tweaks and shifts to actually make it fit into your life right now. Okay. So anyway, hopefully this was valuable. If you have questions, just comment below. If this was valuable, then, give me a high five, an emoji high five or something, so I know that it was valuable, and maybe it like opened your eyes a little bit. And if you do need help, we offer a free game plan call for everybody in this group. And when I say free, I mean genuinely free. I'm not going to try and sell you anything. I genuinely just want to help, especially with 2023 here and the new year, and everybody's kind of getting excited about goals and stuff like that. I want to make sure that everybody in this community has all the tools and resources, and has at least has a direction. Okay? Because there's so much information out there, and it can be extremely overwhelming and hard to know which way to go. And so at the very, very, very least, I'll get on a call with you and I'll give you 1 to 2 very simple, actionable items that you can start doing tomorrow and give you some clarity. That's the whole goal behind the call, is to give you clarity. Okay. So just comment below if you want one of those. I just want to help. Okay. So anyway, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will chat with you all later.